cards with ace king. Ace kings plays best at seeing a full board. So that's basically how I played that hand. I didn't see any point in just limping in, or just mini raising or raising 3 times. All my chips were going in that hand regardless, so rather than take the risk of him calling, I put them all in right at the start, so he knew basically exactly what was going to happen before he committed himself, or thought he committed himself. He may not have been committed with his stack. That's just the way I played that. You should always think about how the hand's going to progress before you actually make your first bet. You know, especially when you're short stacked, you've really got to think what you're getting yourself in for. How much is this hand going to cost me by the end of the flop, by the end of the turn, by the end of the river? And just work out, is there any point in, not putting all your chips in right at the start and just making it clear to the other players that's what's going to happen. Of course, if I had aces there, I may have played it a little slower, or a hand like that, but if you've got one of these hands that, yes, you wouldn't mind seeing a flop with, but if you can help it, you don't want to, then, play it that way now. You've got a raise to 3 times the blind, king 9 suited, Chubby Chick calls with queen jack suited, re-raises, sorry, with queen jack suited. That is a very strange play, unless they thought Sugar J was stealing. And then basically calls off all the chips with second pair and a fairly weak kicker. As I say, some of the play in this tournament was just really, really strange early on. I just found it very odd. We got king 9 there. Yeah, we're going to make a raise. We're going to try and steal the blinds. We haven't really shown down any poor hands so far. As I say, every time I raised in this tournament, it just sticks in my mind that it was getting folded to me so many times. I cottoned on to that, fairly early, and managed to take advantage of it. It wasn't so much when at this stage. It was more when we got down to short-handed. King Jack here at early position. Yeah, I folded that. Although I played King 9 the hand before, it was a bit earlier. I didn't expect to get a walk there if I raised. I expected it to be called or re-raised to me. Just the way I was feeling at the time. As it turns out, I would have had top pair. But if it had been re-raised to me there, I possibly would have folded. It may not have been re-raised, of course, but I just had that feeling, obviously at that time. Sometimes if I've just stolen a hand or I've just won a hand, I often find it's less believable the next time. That someone's going to actually believe I have a hand the next time. Of course they should, because it's totally possible. That's just the way that the human mind works. I try to think what other people are thinking as well. I put myself in sort of their shoes, and I have been quite active, obviously, to get myself back up in chips, but this table's been fairly loose. I don't really want to get myself into a sort of silly race situation at this moment. Somebody wants to race me with a pair of fours or something, and I've got King Jack. I think I'll find a better spot now to get my chips in, to be honest. It's too early for me to race. I've got a mini raise under the gun. Bit of an odd play with Senja. I guess he's just trying to take it down. Mini raise under the gun is often quite a scary prospect. Ace Jack and the big blind. Just going to see a flop with that. I'm not going to re-raise with Ace Jack with two people already in the hand. I just want to have a look. I'm playing it out of position. not the best place to be playing a hand like Ace Jack. Everyone's missed the flop. At this stage, really think in my head, to be honest. But somebody could have Ace Queen or something like that. Maybe a 6. I'm just happy to check it down. I think in that sort of spot, I, I don't think I'm going to gain anything by betting. If I bet there, somebody's really only going to call me if they've hit. If they have hit, well, I've basically lost the hand. I guess somebody else could bet with nothing, but I'm just not willing to throw my chips away after I've worked so hard to get them back here, and it is still early. As I said before, sit and goes. The first sort of 2-3 levels. You've got plenty chips. We're back up to nearly 1100 now. So we're in absolutely no rush. We'll just sit back and see what happens. A raise there with Ace 10, re-raise with Ace Queen. I mean, Ace Queen, it's one of those hands that, the Migs hasn't played a hand for a little while. Suddenly comes out raising in a fairly early position and then re-raised all in with Ace Queen, which, it's going to be behind an awful lot of hands. I don't really understand that there. I'd prefer to call there. See a flop. You're going to have position on the guy after the flop, but